All right. The Let me do my chat about. Oh, I have to get the. Make sure I get the name. The Deep Waters, which is another tale told very much in like the one thing about this. This isn't just like Pauline Johnson just saying, "Okay, here's the tale." It's like no, she tells the tale of how she was told the tale, and it is her recreation. It seems of Joe Sapulak, Joe Capilano, telling this tale to her. And this is one where he's come to her on a real rainy day, and she's like, "Oh, you shouldn't have come out in all this rain. What is it going to do to your throat and all that stuff?" And he, and yeah, so he tells her. And he's like, "No, no," and it's like, well, it's not like I can still walk. It's not that deep out there. And she's like, "Oh yeah, well I can well believe the days when it would the great deep waters," and she like figures it's coming quickly. It's interesting that this tale, she kind of contextualizes, says like, "Oh, this is a Squamish tale of a kind of the Great Deluge," and she contrasts it to give it a little bit further richness by telling the tale of an Iroquois deluge story, which is all about animals, talking animals, who are kind of given greater intelligence than human beings. And in that story, it is is it a muskrat? Paddling, the great deluge has come, it's paddling. It's like, oh, I'm getting tired of the thing. And it comes across a turtle who's like, yeah, just paddling along, just really comfortable. And says, like, he talks to him and complains to the turtle about this. And the turtle says, well, swim down, pull it, get some earth. You want dry land, go down and get some. So he dives down, he gets some, puts it on top of the turtle's thing, and then dives down to get some more. And when he comes back up, he realizes it's doubled in size in the thing, and he keeps on doing this, and each time it doubles and doubles and doubles, until this is how continents were made. And they're medicine men, and they get the corpses of men because they said like all the men have drowned. They go and get the corpses of men, revivify them, and it's from those people that the world gets repopulated. So there's that. Now for the Squamish tale, we have a bit of pre-apocalypse, and then apocalypse, and then post-apocalypse, where pre-apocalypse, the Squamish tribe is there going, oh shit, it is raining like crazy. What are we going to do? They come up with a plan, and the plan is to make a giant canoe into which they're putting all their children. They like, we're not getting out of this alive, but we're putting all our children, and we're putting our youngest mother of 16, the first last mother of the tribe, into the thing. She's got like a little baby herself, and the bravest and youngest of our warriors, and they put them into the canoe. And the world's gone, and they just the people who sacrifice themselves are like, we're fine as long as our children are surviving, and the bravest of our young maiden and our bravest brave are there. So yeah, they drowned, and Mount Baker. They float. They've attached a rope to a giant immovable boulder because they're afraid, like, if they just put them on a canoe and just float them out, they could go anywhere. They could be in the middle of the sea when the waters come down and they'd still die. So they anchor them, and then finally they spot a little bit of white land poking through, and it's the top of Mount Baker, which is sort of their Mount Ararat, I think is how he puts it. No, I put it to the wrong one. Mount is a Mount Ararat of their thing, of the Mount Ararat of the Pacific Coast peoples. It's interesting that Johnson uses a couple of things in here that, like, oh, that would not go well today. And this is coming from someone who is, probably identifies as part native, or you can sense her slight distance in that, like, she's contrasting the Squamish with the Iroquois, but there's also some of the stuff of, like, her saying, like, readers who are familiar with the ways and beliefs face of primitive races will agree that it is difficult to discover anywhere in the world a race that is not yet some story of the deluge. So it's that use of like that kind of language that probably thought not of at the time, but it's like, oh yeah, calling people primitive races, you know, and you know, yeah. So there is a little bit of that kind of queasiness of stuff of you know, and sort of maybe in some ways going like, oh well, you know, Squamish people, they don't rate themselves lower than animals. They don't have talking animals for the most part in their traditions, which I don't know if that's actually true. Maybe the Squamish in particular, but you know, there's the raven, definitely the raven myth in that I've heard. Ignorant me have heard from like Bill Reed and artists like that, definitely coming up. I don't know if you know, yeah, those kind of tales that I've heard. So you know, and it's interesting that they say, you know, when a coast Indian consents to tell you a legend, he will, without variation, begin it with, "It was before the white people came." The natural thing for you then to ask is, "But who was there then?" And he will reply, "Indians, and just the trees and animals and fishes and a few birds," which is like, who was here before the white people? Us, not us, not me. Fuck, I'm one of the white people, but you know, native people. It's like it's kind of an odd thing, but it gives you an idea of like who Pauline Johnson is aiming this story at, who she is trying to infect with her thought worms here, how she's trying to push the conversation um, in a in a kind of a crowd pleasing but also pushing kind of way. So yeah, that is the Deep Waters by Pauline Johnson, as told to her by Sapuluk. More videos later.